Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, so we have a great meeting planned out for you guys. Welcome to Realty Executives. Hope everybody's having a great morning. Hope everybody has an amazing energy, ready to give something to the world because you're going live. I think my live over there somewhere in some kind of world. Okay, I know you're being recorded. So the whole point is that to bring people in here, and I met all these gentlemen out of particular BNI in Long Beach. And I was so impressed by their, I was a guest to them, and I was so impressed by the amazing meeting they put together. I was by our first speaker, Mr. Malouf. I didn't know that was a degree in college and all that kind of stuff. So I was very double impressed. He's a very nice young man that has been at his craft for a while in his young age. Has a really good company right around our, right here beside our office. He's gonna set up his shop. So I let him tell you this wonderful story. So please put your hands together and let's bring up Mr. Marco Malouf.
Alrighty, so my name is Marcus Malouf, founder and project manager at MC Landscaping. We're a local licensed landscape contractor. So what it means to be a licensed contractor is we're held to a higher standard. So we have to have workers' comp, we have to have liability insurance, and we have to be bonded. If any of those insurances lapse, they suspend our license, they inactivate it. So 95% of our customers, before they even call to set up an appointment with us, they're looking at our license to make sure it's active. And so our mission is to work with our clients to install and maintain exceptional landscapes by combining the extensive knowledge of horticulture with quality craftsmanship. So pretty much what that means is we like what we do and we're good at it. I have a degree in horticulture. It's uncommon in the trade, and all of that knowledge is passed downstream to my employees. And I have a number of employees who are going through the horticulture program at the local Long Beach City College. So we really like what we do, and customers always ask me, like, what is horticulture? Like, what does it mean? Very simple, we speak plant language. We're like a Dr. Dolittle, but for plants. So we design, we install, and we maintain landscapes. So the first step to the process is the design. This is a very simple aerial view sketch. It gets the job done. It says what's going where, has the plants with the legend of what it is, the sprinklers, where they're located, the lawn, and what's dividing it. I hand this over to my foreman, has everything on there he needs to install a landscape. Any other landscaper, if we do design, any other landscaper can also install that. So this is a very simple aerial view sketch. Basic, gets the job done. The next step is if someone really wants to see what it's going to look like before it's installed, we can do 3D renderings. So on this one we did concrete retaining walls, concrete bench seating, a fire pit, and landscape lighting. And they really want to see what it looks like, we show it to them at night with the lighting. So this is the next step if they really want to do it. So after the design is done, we have to execute it. So then we move into doing the construction of it. So we do the full construction. We do the electrical for any irrigation timers we need, any lighting timers, plumbing for gas lines, for the water, anything we need to actually get the landscape going. And then we, of course, do the landscape lighting, the planting, the mulch. We do artificial turf, the gravel. So anything we need within the landscape to get it done, we take care of it. So I'm just going to go through some photos here of some of the landscapes that we have installed. We do full hardscape, so concrete, pavers, retaining walls, fire pits, all that fun stuff.
Is that turf, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, artificial turf. You can barely tell, huh?
It looked almost, it was tough, but it looked too good.
Yeah, so anything within the construction phase of it we do. So after like the landscape is done and it's installed, it looks beautiful, it's like what do you do with it after that, right? So you have to maintain the landscape. So just imagine like you go and buy a new car and then you never get an oil change. You never change the brakes. You never wash it. You never do any of that stuff. Your investment's going to go down the drain. So I'd say 99% of the landscapes we install, we protect that investment after by maintaining it. So we do weekly and bi-weekly service. So go and we cut the grass, check the irrigation, all that good stuff. So this is a landscape we installed. This is about 6 months later. So it's residential houses or commercial properties, we can take care of it. So as a part of our maintenance, we're not just like a mow and blow service. We're not in and out, we're not fast. Our goal is to keep the landscape looking the way it should all the time. So part of our maintenance service includes deadheading all the plants. We go in, blow all the grounds down, make sure everything's fine, make sure, see if there's any additional plants or any mulch that's needed, any type of upgrades. And then we check the irrigation every visit to make sure that it's getting the water that it needs. So when the seasons change, obviously the plants need more and less water. So my maintenance crew takes care of that. They put it into our system we use, everything is tracked, so they know what was changed and when. So it's a very easy process. So all of that is fun, but I have something exciting for you guys if you didn't know. The City of Long Beach and the Metropolitan Water District are giving rebates for tearing out the thirsty lawns and putting in drought-tolerant plants. So the City of Long Beach just upped their budget, so they're giving up to $3 a square foot for a front yard and up to $2 a square foot for a backyard to rip out a lawn and put in drought-tolerant plants. So that's great, but what's also great is they're giving $1,500 back for a professional design. So a lot of times the homeowners are doing their own design, and then when it's installed it doesn't look that great. So they're reimbursing homeowners up to $1,500 for a professional design. But you can't just use any designer. We have partnered up with the Long Beach Water Department, and we're one of the 12 certified designers to be able to, for the homeowner to be qualified to get the reimbursement. So it's cool, but it can go bad. A lot of people, when they think about drought tolerant, they think about like a desert landscaping and stuff, but it's not. So they're giving up to $6,500 in rebates, $1,500 for the professional design, and up to $5,000 for the front or backyard combined. So $6,500 is there. But to do it, you have to go and get educated. So the homeowner has to go through the City of Long Beach and go through kind of like a course. So they always think that when drought tolerant plants is going to look like a desert, it's going to look like Arizona or Texas or something like that. Drought tolerant plant means that it won't die if it doesn't get any water. So it can survive off of the little bit of rainfall we get. That doesn't mean that it's going to look nice or that it's going to flower or that it's going to stay above ground. Sometimes the plant survives, but it dies back because it's not getting the water that it needs. So this is what people think of when they think about drought tolerant, but that's not true. They can look really nice. So I have some pictures here of some drought tolerant stuff we've done, and you have to get really creative and you can make it look really good. So this one, the customer got reimbursed for the portions of the lawn that he ripped out. So he still decided to keep some grass. So he just got reimbursed for here, in that corner, and there was another one on the other side. This one was a full front yard. It was very simple. The customer wanted a minimal landscape, but we got it done. It was exactly what she wanted. This is a backyard. They got $2 a square foot for this backyard, and this is a patio area. So it's very simple. It's all permeable, so the water runs through, meets the qualifications of the Long Beach Water Department. And all of these are tropical plants. Every one of these is classified as a tropical plant. But here in Southern California, they can grow with minimal water. So they're approved plants for the program. This is a beautiful landscape. Again, all tropical plants, but meets the requirements because they're classified as drought tolerant. Now this customer only got a rebate for the area that was converted over, and they decided to do artificial turf to keep that Southern California look here that people are used to.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Question. For the artificial turf, thank you. For the artificial turf, what's the maintenance process for that, and how often does it have to be re-tied down or secured, if that is even required?
So it really depends on the traffic. So if there's going to be dogs or young children using it like every day, then you'll probably get somewhere between 5 to 7 years of life out of it. Now if it's a very low traffic area, like for a front yard, it's not going to be used that much, you'll get 10 to 15 plus years out of it. The cool thing about artificial turf is it goes down like carpet. So underneath it, there's a base, and then the carpet goes on top and it's nailed down. So after the 6 to 8 or the 10 to 15 years, you go in, you pull the piece of grass off the top, and you install a new piece. Maybe a little bit of regrading underneath, but the majority of the work is in the preparation. Yeah.
Can we get an idea about just for that specific area of the square footage, the cost,
How much it costs?
average?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Just remember that question.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is another one here in Long Beach. The customer was reimbursed for the area where the planting is. They did landscape lighting and stuff, but of course they wanted to keep that Southern California look. So we did a little bit of artificial turf in the front and drought tolerant plants in the back. So all of that is great, but like say if somebody wants to see us, where do they go? They can go to our fantastic website. They can see a display of all of our work that we've done, how to get in touch with us, and then from there, they can check us out on all of our social media sites, see what some of our other customers thought, see some real life photos that we didn't post that our customers put up there. So it's all real information, and they can kind of do their homework before they call us. So one of the things that we're really looking to do is work with pool builders, masonry and concrete contractors, and general contractors. So what we do for them is they go and they build this beautiful stuff. They build beautiful pools, homes, put in some great concrete, and we come in and we finish off the project. So we put the plants in, we do all the softscape irrigation, and we don't have to work directly with the client. We can come in under those contractors. We don't have to be the boss, we don't have to put our signs up, we don't have to be seen. We can just come in and put the icing on the cake for these other contractors. We're looking for property managers to work with. We're also do, like I mentioned, landscape maintenance. So if it's residential properties, small commercial or large industrial properties, we're looking to maintain those and provide value for the property managers. Real estate agents, what we've found effective is when homes are going to be sold, rather than doing a complete front and back redo, we will go in and do a landscape cleanup. What that means is we'll go trim the trees, trim the bushes, drop in a couple plants and put some fresh mulch in, maybe seed the lawn. So it's a minimal investment because most likely the new homeowner is probably going to rip out the landscape and redo it anyways. So just do a minimal cleanup job on the landscape, get it nice up the curb appeal, and it works very well. And then of course, homeowners in Long Beach or in LA County that are looking to remove their lawn and be reimbursed for removing their lawn for putting in drought tolerant landscapes. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
How long does it take to get that refund?
So what happens is they put in their application and then they install the landscape. Whatever company approved them for it, they come within 30 days, check it out, and then they send them a check within 90 days. Yeah. Yes.
For the cost or the refunds, reimbursements, so LA County and Long Beach are the same, up to $5,000 for front and backyard combinations and then $1,500 for design?
So the Metropolitan Water District is what handles LA, and the city of Long Beach has the best rebates. So they're the ones that are up to $5,000 and give the design reimbursement. For LA County, they're giving about $2.50 a square foot. Yeah, it varies between $2 to $2.75. Right now it's about $2.50. Yeah. And then, so to answer your question, it really depends on what we need for demolition, what type of irrigation is existing or what we need to add. So it really depends, but a professional landscape usually varies between $5 to $12 a square foot.
In artificial turf?
With artificial turf, it really depends on what's needed. So it's somewhere between $5 to $12 a square foot. Because there's so many different things, like what's going to divide it. Is it going to be concrete? Is it going to be plastic? So there's just too many factors to give for the price. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions on the rebates or any other landscape work?
On the process for rebates, you help the customers to fill out the application, paperwork, or how does it work?
We can. It's a very easy process to do online, but the most value that we provide to our clients on that is we're very familiar with the design requirements. There's specific requirements that the City of Long Beach or Metropolitan Water District requires, like the spacing in between the plants in the parkway so people can get out of their cars, the type of irrigation you use, and what's going to happen with all the water runoff. All the water has to stay on the landscape now. So we're very familiar with that. We've never had a plan come back to us for changes. So every time we submit the plan first, it gets approved, and the process is to continue from there. Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for listening. I have business cards, flyers, and some mouse pads in the back. Feel free to help yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so hopefully now we understand a little bit about, I just heard the last part, like when we put the property in the market and it needs to clean up, he can come over, clean it up, trim the bushes and all that kind of stuff. I think properties look a lot better. I know that Virginia's doing an open house on one of my listings and it needs exactly that. So that obviously, I'm familiar with right now. So, that's one person that you can now have direct contact. You have a face and name, and you understand exactly what he does. Now the next person that I'm going to come up is how often do you, especially in the weekend, you have a need for this particular skill set. I was talking to him earlier. I also met him on the BNI, and I was very impressed with his presentation and how they describe their craft, and the amount of people that they have working for him. I know that for a property, so I have a lease in Avenue Hesperia, and I called 3 different companies for 3 different things: termite, plumbing, and painting. And, well, I don't know that many people over there, right? So I've had to hire people that I don't know of and trial and error. But if we establish a relationship with these gentlemen right here, I think that they will probably, if they don't service that particular area, maybe they'll refer us to somebody that they know in their trade, just like we know other realtors in other areas when we cannot service an area. So let's bring over here to the front Cory Davis and have us educate us in plumbing.
Thank you guys. So I'm Cory Davis. I own Pipe Masters Incorporated Plumbing and Rooter, a local licensed plumbing contractor based out of Long Beach. We also have a satellite office in Buena Park. We cover all pretty much areas of Orange County, LA County. I'd say the farthest we go would be San Bernardino County, something, within a couple hours drive, it's not too bad. And we've been down as far as Dana Point and things like that. So I'm just going to be presenting today and kind of informing you guys what we can offer for realtors specifically as far as some other tasks that we complete in our day-to-day operations. Let's see if I can make this slide work. Thank you guys for your patience. Some technical difficulties. So here's a couple vans that we operate. We currently have 2 vans. Looking to add a 3rd one this summer so that we can handle a little bit more work volume. We work for several property managers throughout Long Beach. PS Business Parks is one of them. Mike Dunphy Group is another one. They manage a pretty big portfolio and they have us do any plumbing repairs that come up. This was actually on a job for Covenant Manor off of 4th and Atlantic, if you're familiar with that property. So we have 15 years, I have 15 years experience in the trade, a little bit longer now. We formed this company back in 2015. We do things the right way, not the easy way. So what that means is even if we have a customer that might want to try and cut some corners to save costs, we'll still come up with something economical, but is not going to cause them more problems than it's going to solve. And we're constantly looking for ways to improve our industry through pricing and all that stuff. Here's some things that we offer. Tankless water heaters, whole home water filters, trenchless sewer repair, water, gas, and sewer repipes, leak detection, and remodels. So we can actually go through. Do we have a question?
Yes, the trenchless sewer repair, is that like putting the lining in the?
Yes, so there's actually 2 different ways that we can accomplish that. One would be a liner, where we actually insert a new pipe through the old pipe. That takes typically 1 excavation, and we can shoot liners up to 150 feet, depending on how many turns and different changes in direction. The good thing about that is, I would say traditionally, we would hand dig the entire sewer. It could be 6 feet deep, and we would always have to stop at the property line, which is typically in the parkway or the sidewalk. Now we can actually dig 1 small hole up by the front of the house and replace 100% of the sewer, which the homeowners are responsible for, even underneath the street, without having to, shut down the street, dig a 12-foot deep hole, and then fill that hole in with concrete and then patch the asphalt back on top of it. Much more economical, saves a lot of time, saves a lot of headache and hardscape and all that stuff. If we had to come behind Marcus and replace the sewer, we wouldn't tear up all that brand new landscaping that he just put in. Another way that we can do it is through what's called pipe bursting. A little bit different method, requires 2 excavations, 1 at each end, and we actually pull a new pipe through the old clay sewer. Still much more economical than a traditional digging because we don't have to go however deep the sewer is for the entire length of it. It's just 1 hole at the start, 1 hole at the end, and we can pull a new pipe through the old pipe. But I would say liners are more economical than burst even because then we don't have to dig that second hole. Remodels, we get into, we're actually doing one right now in Lakewood, kitchen remodels, so we can do cabinetry, we can handle minor electrical repairs. Like she wanted us to replace some receptacles and switches and add a couple can lights. We're doing the cabinets, the countertops, pretty much everything for her kitchen to be brand new at the end of this project. The flooring, some minor plaster repairs because the home is built in the 50s. We offer free estimates for realtors. If you guys email me a copy of the home inspection report, which almost any house that's going to be in escrow is going to have, I can look at that inspection report, any of the plumbing items or any repairs that you guys want us to handle. We can actually email you a line item based off of the home inspection report. So if line item number 25 is they need a new water heater, we'll reference that and we'll give you a price for it for free. If you're helping to purchase or sell, that helps us kind of know how to help you guys most efficiently, right? So if you guys are selling a house and you need the repair costs to be as minimal as possible for the homeowner, well, we can take a look at the home inspection report and just give you guys very detailed, specific instructions for how we can help you at a very minimal cost. It's itemized to your needs, and we can also bill escrow, which saves people time and money. And here's an example of one of our estimates. So this was a home inspection report, and these were all the line items that they wanted to address. The seller hired us to come through and basically fix everything that the buyer wanted done before they would buy the house. And so we broke everything out with line item pricing, handled a bunch of different repairs that wouldn't really fall under a plumbing category, but it was something that we were able to help the homeowner with, so that they didn't have to go out and find multiple contractors. They didn't have to find a roofer, they didn't have to find a stucco repair person, because we were able to handle all of the repairs that they needed done. And then here's just like a couple projects that we're in the middle of right now. So this was a kitchen remodel that we did with all new cabinetry, countertops, and some new electrical. We had a single cooktop in this kitchen, and we actually removed one of the cabinets to add a double range, which is beautiful. I love this job. Did a tile backsplash for him. And then this was a bathroom remodel that we're in the middle of right now. So as you can see, it's still under construction. We don't have any of the trim or any of the finished work. There's still some paint work to be done. But when this is done, everything will be completely finished from start to finish. And then here's just a couple more things that we offer. So this is a tankless water heater install that we did in Covina, a whole home water filtration system, and then just, if we're not going to go through and replace an entire bathroom, we can still do plumbing upgrades that will add to the longevity and give it a much nicer look for whoever's going to buy that house. Earthquake valves are pretty big in California right now. They want to make sure that there's a seismic brace and an automatic shutoff valve for your gas system. So if the ground shakes hard enough, your house isn't going to, have a risk of catching on fire. We have some rainwater collection systems here that we can install. We can also do gray water systems, which is where you take anything besides your toilet sewer and actually irrigate your lawn with it. So your shower, if you're using biodegradable soap, your wash machine, your dishwasher, your kitchen sink, pretty much anything that's not your toilet can be reused and cut down your water bill for irrigation. Another tankless water heater install that we did. So back to the question about the liners, right? So this was a project that I was pretty proud of. Right here you can see a concrete patch. So 10 years ago, I want to say, the homeowner that owned this property paid somebody over $10,000 to break out a 3-foot section of concrete, dig down, and fix 2 feet of pipe, where they had one problem 10 years ago. Well, when we came back out, they were still having problems because they only replaced this one section of this entire line, which was over 80 feet long. We were able to dig a hole up here in this planter and actually shoot a liner all the way to the end of their responsibility, which stops right here, and fix 100% of their sewer for less than they paid to have that one repair done 10 years ago. And you can imagine, those costs are constantly going up every year.
One question?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fabulous.
Thank you.
How do you, since you don't actually go into the street and cut the street at that secondary point where it ties into the lateral, the main or whatever?
Correct.
The main line? So how do you know that you cleared the feet? Do you shoot a camera through there or something?
Very good question. Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do, if you called us out and said, hey, my house is backing up, the whole sewer is stopped up, typically what we're going to do before we even run a snake to try and clear the problem is do a free complimentary camera inspection if you have access, If we have to go on the roof or something like that, we might charge a small fee. But typically, you can't really see it in this picture, but she had a mainline clean out in her front planter. So I was able to stick a camera down there to get a look at the problem before we ever try to do anything, because sometimes you can make a bad problem worse by just sending some equipment down there, getting tangled up, and now it's stuck out here in the street, and now we have to dig a hole to get our equipment out. We were able to get a look at it, give an estimate. Now, when I looked at this with the camera before we did anything, I found multiple spots everywhere outside of this little 3-foot section that they had already done that needed repair. So they had roots growing in every 5 feet, every next piece of clay piping, they had roots growing into the sewer. So based on that information, we gave her a price to not only fix the immediate problem, which was to get the line to flow so that her tenants could use the sewer again, but also fix it to where it never happens again. Now for liners, we typically offer anywhere from a 10 to 20 year warranty, depending on the price, the distance. There's a lot of things that go into those numbers. But yeah, we were able to fix 100% of that sewer. So we calculate the complete distance with the camera. It'll tell us, like this one was 87 feet, and we will land the liner right where we want to. And then once the liner is cured, which takes about anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on the relative humidity and temperature, which is how long the sewer is down for, right? So it takes us about a day to prep everything. The sewer is actually only not in use for about 2 hours. And then the line is complete. We camera it again once we're done to make sure that it adhered to the old pipe like it's supposed to. Then we can offer our warranty at a minimum of 10 years. So here's just a look, typical look at the inside of galvanized piping. Now typically, as you can see over here, some of the chunks have kind of flowed into this copper pipe. But this is typically what the inside of a steel or galvanized line is going to look like. And this is a lot of homes that were built in the 40s and 50s. And we can come through, and typically we're not going to replace it even with copper these days. We're going to use PEX, which is a plastic material. The exciting thing about that is that with copper, we can offer a 10-year warranty if we're going to repipe the entire home copper. But with PEX, we actually offer a lifetime warranty because we know that it's not susceptible to pinhole leaks. And once we turn the water on and we check every connection that we just made, we know it's good and we'll stand behind that word for life. Yeah, this is, unfortunately, this is not my puppy. I wish it was, my wife specifically loves French Bulldogs, but most of our rates are based off of $80 an hour. So this is just a drain cleaning coupon that we had printed up a couple years back. So if we're going to come out and snake a drain, it's only going to cost $80. And if we can't clear it, you don't pay, which is right there in the fine print. Here's our camera equipment. So right here we have a sewer exposed that we're making a repair, and we're actually running the camera to make sure that the rest of the line is immaculate and you're not going to have any problems. Once we put the dirt back in this hole, it won't have to come back out again. Here's a bathroom remodel that we've done. Just kind of start to finish. We built this shower, put some river rock in the bottom, and then that's all travertine tile in the shower. Picked out the fixtures. So we work closely with homeowners to figure out exactly what their wants and needs are and try and build something that's going to be exactly what they want so that they can live with it. And that's pretty much it.
Quick question, if the homeowner chooses their own special materials, do you go only with the labor and you have like an average price per square foot?
That's a great question. So not really a price per square foot because it really depends on the materials. So if you picked out some specific type of marble that you wanted in your shower, we would have to just calculate, okay, how much square footage are we doing, how much are the materials, and how hard is it to work with. But yeah, we don't mark up our parts, which a lot of contractors do, I feel like. So if we go to Home Depot and pick up a $99 faucet for your house, for your kitchen, you're going to pay $99 for that faucet. That's pretty much it. We basically base everything off of $80 per hour plus materials with no markup on it.
Any kind of job, if it's tiling or if it's flooring or backsplash or faucets, same price, $80 the hour?
Correct, yeah. So I would just calculate, how much of the materials, like on the current job that we're doing for the kitchen remodel, the next step is to do the backsplash with some mirrored tile. So I just calculated it's going to be about $400 for the materials. How long is it going to take me? About a day and a half, and there's the price.
Great, thank you.
So you guys do commercials as well?
Correct, yeah. I don't really promote it too much for Pipe Masters, but I did spend about 5 years at a commercial shop out of Anaheim. So we're very familiar with commercial properties. We just, I guess outside of PS Business Parks, we don't really deal with them too much. But we do all the work, all the plumbing work for PS Business Parks from here to Culver City. So we do get into commercial plumbing for them. Any other questions?
Yeah, I do. That material that you use to, I think you called it PEX.
Mhm.
What is that made out of?
So PEX is cross-linked polyethylene. So at the start of, I would say the 70s, we came out with PVC, right? But then we found, I would say after about 10 years, that there's problems associated with PVC. You can leach actual chlorine out of the material itself into the water just by being in contact with the water, and you don't really want elevated levels of chlorine going into your body if you're drinking it, if you're showering, etc. So then they came out with polyethylene, right? Polyethylene is a plastic material that the gas company uses to replace all of their mains out in the street, but it's not really rated for water. So then they added another step to that polyethylene chemically in order to make it withstand 300 psi or 150 degrees, which is, or I think it's 250 degrees or 300 psi. So it's rated well above like what we're going to use it for in any application for potable water. But yeah, it's PEX has been used in Europe, I would say, for about the last 80 years. But like anything, there's hoops that you have to jump through if you want to use products in the United States. So they had to get other manufacturers to not battle them that were producing copper to say, okay, we can use PEX, we can use it in Long Beach now.
Thank you.
And that was about 10 to 15 years ago when that came on the market in the United States.
I have a question for tankless water heaters. What are the, like a rough estimate to change them?
So the cheapest tankless water heater you can get is probably going to cost about $600. Okay, anywhere from I would say $550 to about $750, and that number goes up all the way to about $2,000 to $2,500 depending on the warranty that the manufacturer offers. But for a typical tankless water heater swap out, it would be about anywhere from $2,500 to about $3,500 for your basic model. Any other questions?
Yes, on these old homes, a lot of times the main sewer is full of roots.
Correct.
And they said, some people said you can't use the normal mechanical cleaner because of
A
the
snake.
snake, it will maybe damage the clay tile.
It's
So they,
possible.
Excuse me, could you repeat the question? We couldn't hear it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, he's good.
Well, yeah, I still haven't heard the whole question yet. What is it?
so, I've had experience where they've used high water pressure, and that worked real well.
Sure.
Do you use that?
We do. We have a jetter. So the question is there a better method of cleaning out the sewer from like snaking it with a mechanical machine with a cutting blade on the end of it versus high pressure jetting? So for those of you that don't know, we carry 3 different size cables on our vans, right, for any size project, from your kitchen sink all the way up to your mainline sewer. They're not interchangeable. There's specific machines for specific tasks so that we don't break sewers and do things like that. Now, it's typically a little bit more expensive to perform a high pressure jetting, where we take a machine that can pump the water up to 4,000 psi and actually scour the inside of the sewer as it's pushing through it. The equipment is much more expensive for a jetter, so the prices are a little bit higher, but definitely a better job. I wouldn't say there's any less risk between jetting and a snake, because they're both very strong. So if the problem is bad enough, it could collapse a sewer, right? If we take out a section of roots that are completely blocking the inside diameter of a 4-inch pipe, and the roots are holding that pipe up, it's possible that it could collapse. That's why we always provide a free camera estimate to make sure that we're not going to make a bad problem worse, right? So we're going to take a look at it and go, okay, yeah, absolutely. The snake's not going to work on this one. We need to jet it. Or, you know, hey, if we jet this, we might open up a can of worms. Do we want to snake this and then camera it and then see what we're up against? if that makes any sense. But I wouldn't say one is more dangerous than the other. It just depends on workmanship and how you operate the equipment.
A few times that I got involved in the jetting, it worked very well.
Yeah, jetting is very effective because it's so much stronger. A 4,000 psi in a spinning head nozzle is going to really clean out that sewer compared to a snake where it might just be laying in the bottom of the pipe, but you have a 6-inch pipe. You know, so the top of the pipe might still have a lot of debris in it because the snake's just going to lay in the bottom. Yeah, but that's where the camera comes in, and I'm so thankful that we have that piece of equipment because before we had to guess, okay, where is your sewer at? Is it right here? Is it 5 feet deep? Is it 10 feet deep? Is it 12 feet deep? The camera actually has a locator attachment on it so that we can find out, we can pinpoint and say, okay, your sewer is exactly right here and it's exactly 3 foot 6 inches. On top of being able to physically see the problem. And that's all my time. We have one last question?
One last question. So did I understand that with the jetting, which is more expensive, it will typically do a better job of cleaning the entire diameter of the...
That's correct. Depending on the size of the jetter that we're using, because there's little tiny, basically a pressure washer with a hose on it, all the way up to a full size. I'm sure you've seen trailers behind plumbing trucks. That's with a big water tank. That's typically like a full size jetter. No matter what size sewer we're running that into, the water's spraying out of there at such a tremendous force, it's going to scour the inside diameter of that pipe completely. Yeah, and typically do a better job of cutting out roots too. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that caught my picture, I was commenting on back there with Marcella, was you guys saw the in the gas shut-off section where there was a tool to turn it off in case of emergency. You guys noticed that?
Yeah.
I remember about 15 years ago when the whole seismic things and all that with water heat with the automatic shut-off valves. In LA, you couldn't sell a house; they had to redo, and it's still going on. The whole renovation in LA and all that stuff. And I remember one of the things I used to give my clients was one of those tools to hang on, right by their automatic shut-off valve. Now that they have it, so not a bad idea. Still, if you have a client, go to Home Depot, get a $3, $10 tool, and hang it in there for them in case of an emergency. They don't have to go around crazy in the garage or something.